What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Make Money and Have Fun show. As I'm sure you know by now, we're bringing on guests every single week that are both making money and having fun in their business. And today, I want to introduce you to one of my best friends, one of my favorite people out there that I know, one of the best real estate investors I've ever seen, Mr. Dan Zitofsky of Zitofsky Capital Management. So a little bit about Dan before I bring him on. For well over 2 decades, Dan has specialized in working with clients to build equity in their wealth portfolios through investments, savings, IRAs, and 401ks. At Zitofsky Capital Management, he performs extensive due diligence to protect every investment for their investors. He's closed over 800 fix and flips, 650 rental properties, including one that he just got that he and I were just chatting about. He owns 800 plus stores in multifamily projects and over 1,000 private money and non-performing note transactions. So please help me welcome Mr. Dan Zitofsky. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you?
There he is. I love it. I'm so excited to have you here, Dan. Where are you coming from? You're in Delaware, right?
Right. I'm from Delaware, originally New York, but out in Delaware now almost 17 years, and love calling it home. I get, unfortunately, other than right now, I'm always traveling around the United States, and now I speak a little bit internationally. But sometimes I don't know where I'm from, but I am rooted in Delaware now, and I'm loving it. So
I love that. That's awesome. You got no income taxes out there, right?
We do have those income taxes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you move to Florida, you move to Puerto Rico. Now we can get in a whole tax show, and it's pretty cool.
Right.
But then people flip out because they flipped out when they saw President Trump not paying what they thought he should pay in taxes. So
sure. We'll probably end up talking about taxes in a minute. I know that you geek out over that, and your lawyer is actually one of my favorite lawyers as well.
Awesome.
But real quick, I just want to let our viewers know, if you have questions for Dan, you can actually type your questions in, whether you're watching us from YouTube or from Facebook. And the really cool thing is I can actually bring your question right up on screen, as this little demonstration would show. So if you have questions for Dan throughout the time, just post them below and I'll bring them right up. But Dan, I have a question for you.
Sure.
To get started. And I always like to ask all my guests this question to start us out. And the question is, what is your story?
All right.
You can answer that however you like.
This can go a while.
Right.
My story is, when I first got involved in this, and it's in our book too, why I got started, what my why is. But I always thought, and I'm going to kind of, fast forward a little bit so we don't spend too much time on it right now. Because most people on here might even know my story. But when I got started, I thought success in real estate was making a lot of money, buying a lot of the expensive cars that I've had, buying the watches that I've had, the boats, that kind of thing. So what I was doing is I was real simple. I was becoming a transactional investor. I was making $50,000 to $80,000 minimum profit per flip, and I was doing $40,000 to $50,000 minimum a year. So figure I was making multiple 7 figures year after year. Everyone thought everything was great. The problem is the reason I was doing everything I was doing is because my vision and my why was I wanted to spend more time doing what I want, when I want, with whom I want, anytime I want. And working 100 hours a week and having a wife and kids was not the way to do that.
Yeah.
To the point where I almost lost my wife and kids, and it was like a stabbed in the back when my wife happened to tell me, like, you're not a good husband, you're not a good father, you're not around. And that kind of crushed me because I thought I was doing everything right, giving her the cars she wanted, the jewelry she wanted, the vacation she wanted, everything they wanted, a beautiful house, boats, cars, everything you can imagine. And it really knocked me, down to my knees that day. I still remember the day like it was yesterday. I talk about it in my book all the time. It's my first chapter, which is so important. So I had to realize at that point, what am I going to do? All I really knew how to do in this business was kind of wholesale and flip properties and that kind of thing and make big transactional dollars. And it's a lot more sexy to make $80,000 on a property than it is to make $400 or $500 on a property. So, but when you make $400 or $500 on a property, hundreds and hundreds of times, it gets pretty sexy. And I realized the reason I was doing this and my true vision and my true why was I wanted time to spend with my family and friends doing what I want, being at the beach, being on the boat, doing what I want anytime I want, not being in a jail cell to my contractors, to my realtors, to my inspectors, to the economy, none of that stuff. So I had to build a passive income lifestyle. And I did that two ways. One with rental properties, and two with seller finance notes. And now 2/3 of my portfolio is now, it kind of flip-flopped. 2/3 of my portfolio is seller finance notes, and a third of them are and just about, I'm not going to go exact, but
Sure.
a third of them are rental properties. And
Wow.
it's, we've set ourselves up pretty well, thank God. And, we take advantage of the tax advantages as well with retirement accounts. We're involved in almost every type of retirement account you could be involved in, not only for myself, but for my kids. For my kids as well. So let me turn that off. For my kids as well. So that's kind of my story. And then I got into the point of probably about 11 years ago, we started speaking at events. It started off with like RIAs, and they didn't have meetup back then, but RIA groups. Sure. And I started teaching other people how to really raise private money. And we became the expert on raising private money. We've raised over $30 million in new money and used it over $200 million of velocity. So they started asking us to speak probably about 11 years ago in RIAs, and I started speaking at RIAs. I didn't think I was ready. My mentor told me, he said, "You're doing a disservice by not speaking there because you could really help people." And we did that, and it just took off. We became nationally known as the person who teaches you how to raise private money the right way. We have SEC attorneys behind us. We've done 3 syndications. I bought everything from multifamilies, bought and sold hotels, land deals, huge acquisition deals. The attorney you're talking about and myself, Mark, we owned a plane together
So cool.
because of the tax depreciation on it. So
Sure.
We rented it out to a flight school. So we've been involved in so much, and I'm always learning. I don't push forward with an ego, and I'm very strict. I'm very strict to myself about that. Is, hey, don't have an ego. Make sure you're always getting better. Make sure you're being mentored by people that challenge you, right? So I'm in 2 groups. I'm in masterminds. I'm about to start my next one up here, I think in the middle of November. It's our first meeting. But, laser targeting and picking the right people for my group, because I want them to hold me accountable as I hold them accountable.
Absolutely. There's 2 things that I really love about your story, Dan, in particular. I mean, everything's great, of course. But the 2 things that really stand out is one, the story that you tell in the beginning, and you tell this everywhere about the story of almost losing your family, essentially. It really is like the quintessential message that I'm trying to share with this show and just with everything that I do. Because we all know someone, yourself included, who's making a ton of money, but they're miserable, right? They're not happy, they're not fulfilled, they haven't reached that thing that they thought they would by having all this money in their life. So when we can learn how to bridge that gap and really go from like our passion and bring our prosperity into it at the same time, that's when everything clicks at that point. And that's what I absolutely love about your story.
Oh, thanks. You're 100% right. And that's why I lead with that. I'm not ever trying to me, to talk about the amount of deals I've done is okay. I mean, there's always somebody that's done more. There's always somebody who's going to do more, and that's fine.
Sure.
But my biggest claim to fame, like I said, I always tell people in chapter 1 is my why. And I don't care if you're in the real estate business. I don't care if you're in the insurance business. I don't care if you're a dentist. I don't care if you're a plumber. Just understand why are you doing what you're doing? And is your vision and your actions aligned? Because mine didn't align. Mine were going like this in total different directions. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love speaking about. And that's essentially in my inner circle group that we're putting on. It's called Prosperity in a Circle. Right. That's exactly what it's about. It's not about how many deals you do. It's about living your best life, living your best life, living it intentionally. And that's what I do now. I live my life intentionally. I mean, look, since May, I've literally put my business on the side and I've hardly done anything, and it's running itself. Yeah. It's running itself. And I'm able to actually do something I'm passionate about, is running the political campaign for the state and the country, really, to get out there and to see issues and to really fight for those issues. And a lot of people can't do that because they're stuck in, their 9 to 5 or 9 to 8 job, or they're stuck in this Corona issue, the COVID issue going right now, and their life is depending upon their environment, right? What's going on with their politics? What's going on with taxes? What's going on with an epidemic? What's going on with their job? And I didn't want that. And I've been really intentional for many years now about how do I set myself up, because I'll tell you what, people think, even retirement, they think it's not going to come around. It comes around quick. I mean, I remember being 20 years old like it was yesterday. and now I'm 48, giving away my age, but I'm like talking about almost 30 years. Almost 38. I'm doing this. I cannot believe I'm doing this 30. I bought my first property right before I turned 19. I'm doing this 30 years. I cannot believe it. It feels like it was yesterday. I was scared to death buying my first property you would love this, on a credit card. So it goes quick. So you have to plan accordingly, and you have to have a vision, and you can't just go out there and just start blasting deals.
Sure.
You got to know what your vision is, what your goal is, what you're reaching towards, and then work backwards. And that's what I had to do. And I had a reset. About 10 years ago now. And it works. It works. Just stay laser focused with that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I mean, I have right here, the title of your book is actually Passive to Prosperous, which I absolutely love that title. I think that's fantastic. And that's basically the epitome of what you've done in your life is you took yourself from passive all the way to prosperous, where now the fulfillment is there and the money is there. And from there, it can just blow up. But I wanted to flip the script here for a minute.
Sure.
And talk about the second point that you brought up, which is education. So you and I talk about this often, and we always go down the rabbit hole on Facebook of people's opinions about self-education, or more specifically, I feel like paying for education is kind of something that becomes a big barrier for some people. And you and I, we always have discussions about cost versus value. Mm-hmm. So what are your kind of thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you this. I pay over six figures a year, and most people would consider me financially successful. Listen, I have personal issues like everyone else, and I try to be as honest as I could be with people online, because I feel what's happening on social media is there's a lot of fraud going on. And I don't say fraud monetarily fraud. I say fraud with people. They're talking about all the great things they do, and they don't talk about the demons inside them or the issues they have inside them, right? Yeah. So I need that, because I need people to hold me accountable, right? And you need to have that. And I don't look at education. I don't look at anything as a cost. If I look at it as a cost, it's not a deal for me. I need to look at it as an investment in myself. When someone asks me, okay, how much is it going to cost for you to mentor me? And I don't really do too much one-on-one mentoring anymore. The only one-on-one mentoring I do is 2 people every 3 months for raising private money. That's it. Right. My mentorship is now in a group mentorship I'm doing. But the reason I don't even, once they ask me what's your cost, it's a negative, right? Education, training, mentorship should never be a cost. It should be an investment in yourself. And people have such limited beliefs and limited mindset for themselves that they don't believe they're worth it. And sure. That's so scary. I mean, what's happened in this world is between your parents, your schools, your friends, your community, they're so negative in their beliefs that, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. That kind of mindset, right? I believe something different. I believe if it happens, if you can do it, why can't I? That's how I always believe. And that's why you'll see as you get older, and I still have I have friends from a long time. I'm talking about 30, 40 years I have friends. But you'll start to see in business, your friendships will change, right? You'll outgrow. Yeah. And I always talk about it, right? If you're at the RIA groups and these meetup groups, unfortunately, you're going to outgrow them, right? You have to outgrow them, because if you feel like you're the smartest person in a room, you're probably in the wrong room. And you're not going to grow. And I'm not even talking about monetarily. You're not going to grow hanging out in those type of rooms. And the people that are going to help you grow, you'll never see them on social media. Very rarely, right? My 2 mentors, you'll hardly see them on social media. And listen, I don't know anyone on social media can even compare to these 2 people. Okay. So when I go in that room and when I go to those masterminds, and those masterminds are true masterminds, like everybody calls things a mastermind now. Yeah. How could it be a mastermind when you have a year in the business and you can't provide any kind of value to, there's a group for you, and there's nothing wrong with being new in the business. Right. And I wish that if I started all over again, like a Benjamin Button's work backwards, we didn't have these groups back then. I would find somebody doing exactly what I want to do, and I would have them mentor me. Absolutely. And I would do whatever, and I'll do whatever it takes to make that investment. Okay, whether I had to get a second job to make that investment, or I'd bring a tremendous amount of value to that person, I don't have to get paid, bring them value for them to show me. But I don't see that too much right now. And the ones I see doing that are very successful. So that's kind of, it's just when you hang out in rooms with low level thinking, a limited mindset, scarcity beliefs, you'll never grow. You just never grow. It's a shame because I used to speak at those events and I would see the same people year after year after year after year still saying, I have deals, but I can't raise money. I mean, what are you doing? They're not doing anything differently. Or I'm still in the same rut. I'm still at my job that I hate. And I'm not telling people to leave their job, but start working. If I found a Fred Posimo that had a 9-to-5 and hated it and built a portfolio on the side and then had enough money coming in that he got to leave his job. Well, Fred, you're the one I want to mentor me because I want to fast track my training. And,
sure.
To me, it's, I love, we have a friend, Larry says it, what does it cost? And he loves to say it's a lot cheaper than your first mistake. And he's not kidding because I'll tell you this, I lost more money in this business than I care to ever talk about. But it's going to happen to you.
Sure.
You lose money now, you're going to lose money. Even us lose money. Things happen. Yeah. The uncontrollable. We can't control the economy. We can't control the environment. We can't control what the government. If the government does a shutdown, we can't control that. You're going to lose money.
Yeah.
But
I was just going to say, I also feel like sometimes us losing money is because it's so important to us. So something that I like to say, similar to what you say, is when I look at a mastermind or a mentorship or a coaching program or whatever it might be, I'm always asking myself, am I a good bet? If it costs me $10,000, can I make $30,000 off of it? Is this a good bet for me? And I'm really betting on myself. And, if you play any game, you don't win every single bet. But
right.
If the majority of them come out on top and you're still happy and making that money, then it's a win at that point. And for me, I love masterminds, mentorships, coaches, programs, even books. I see that you have a bookshelf behind you and something you mentioned, which I think is huge. I have a bookshelf right next to me, actually. Everything's backwards. It's on that side. So one of the things that you mentioned, which is really powerful, is that not everybody is at the same level. And maybe, you can only afford a $10 book right now, and go buy the book and read it and then do the things that the book told you to do. That's where most people fall short, is they just collect books. And then the next thing you know, the library is bigger than their bank account.
Exactly. What did you call them the professional? Well, I used to call them at events the professional eventers. Yeah. You see them. It was like their week out with the RIAs are the perfect ones for that. You go every month and they take their wife out or their girlfriend out. And they go to the RIA and they feel like they're crushing it. Right. They get their free drink or their free snack at the RIA and they feel like they're real estate investors. And I'm not degrading them, but I'm like, take action, start challenging yourself, start holding yourself accountable. And if you don't have money, right, there's people out there that have experience. If you bring them a deal and you find other people with money. I mean, you bring value to them, they're going to help. They're going to work with you. But the problem is you're not going to learn this business asking somebody to go to coffee. But, pick. This is what I get. You probably get it a lot too now, right? Can I take you to coffee and pick your brain? And I love Larry's answer. He's got the best answer. Yeah, sure. I'll pick a place in Paris and we'll meet there you can fly me out there and I'll meet you for coffee. But, and I do it sometimes for people, but unfortunately when you do it, the people just don't take action. They're like, because there's this is an easy business. And I'm one person, I'll tell you, I'm one of probably many though, but I'll tell you, I'm not going to get out there and tell you how great it is. I mean, I'll talk about deals and how you can do great deals, but I'm not going to say, hey, it's get rich quick. You don't have to do any work. It's going to be a headache. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be frustration. But you know what? That's why most people quit, because they can't do it. And sure. to get to the point where you want to be, because it's so damn important for you and your life or your family, you're going to do what it takes. So that's what's real. All right. And when people don't invest in themselves, it's very easy to quit. And I can tell you what, my success ratio with working with people for free has not been very good. My success ratio with people investing in themselves has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, you see the post, you see the testimonies from people I've worked with. Phenomenal. They're out there. Their problem now is they've raised so much money, they don't have deals for the money. If you tell other people that, they won't believe it. But you know a lot of the same people I've mentored and worked with, and they're talking about, hey, I can't find you. I have money. I have no deals. So that's the other spectrum, right? Now you have to work with somebody who's great at finding you deals. So that's really the mindset you have to have behind this.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it right on the head when you asked, are you in the right room? Because my belief oftentimes is when we see the education junkies or the people, coming to the events for 2 years and sitting there and you don't even know what their name is, but you're like, I recognize that guy from the last 16 times that I spoke here. My question is always like, are they putting on that suit that makes it look like they're doing the thing that they think everybody else wants them to do? Or are they actually in the place where they're doing the thing that they really want? Right. Your whole investing strategy changed. And one thing that I want to talk to you about is you often kibosh multifamilies. A lot of newbie investors talk about multifamily investing, and you shut them right down because you've seen it from a different perspective. And I think that a lot of people, when they're in that right room, they start to adjust things. My career itself has adjusted, but what are your thoughts going that way?
On the multi, well, I had a lot of doors in multis. I had over 800 doors in multis. I love Larry. He's right. He's right.
And they have to fly first class to Paris.
I just want to know the coffee shop we're meeting at.
Yeah,
but
right.
It's not that I'm kiboshing the multis. What I'm saying right now is everybody. That's the hot button, right? Everybody, and most of these people that are in multis are in this business less than 10 years. Right. Most of these big multi guys right now are in this business less than 10 years. They weren't in this business back in 2007, 8, 9 when I was here watching what happened. And what happens with multis is there's a reset. It's based on cap rates, okay, and debt coverage ratio. Right. And there's a reset period. It could be 5, 7, 10 years. If those interest rates go up, okay, and your cap rates go down, those banks start calling those notes due. You're in a lot of trouble, right? You're in a lot of trouble. I had the ability back in 2009 to buy multis at 20 to 30 cents on the dollar. I didn't have cash back then. I was equity rich, cash poor. That's basically, I was so dependent on hard money lenders and banks back then that controlled my business. And back in 2009, I said I would never, stuff happened, my deals didn't close. I said I would never let my business be based on a hard money lender again. No, I'm not saying, or a bank. I'm not saying don't use them. I'm not saying they're bad. Sure. But have backup plans, have private investors, right?
Yeah.
And if I had that available back then, I would have been able to scoop up so many multis. So I did own multis. And back in 2019, I sold my last 3 multis. I sold them off. Put it this way, I bought them in the 9s and 10 caps. I sold them in the 5s to 6 cap. Okay. We made a tremendous amount of money on them. Okay. So I sold them off. Now, the people that bought them for me, I don't know how in the world they're going to be able to keep these at the rates reset. Now, we don't know what's going to happen. The other thing is when you buy these multis, you're working for your investors, right? Your big play on multis is value add. Your big play is doing the cash out refinance, getting some cash there. You're giving away 70, 80% to your investors. You're taking 20, 30%. You're working your butt off. It isn't anything but passive, a multi. Let me tell you, I've had some nice multi. It's anything but passive and sit back. But if you're doing it for a tax benefit, accelerated depreciation, that could work. I'm going to probably buy multis again. I just thought at this point when I can sell these things, when people are pounding my door down to buy them, I'm going to sell them off, and I'm going to take the money. I'm going to be cash strong, and I'm going to spread it out. Now, the other reason I'm not a big fan of multis right now is because they're anything but passive. I want to set my lifestyle up for my vision. My vision is creating that lifestyle where I don't have to do anything. And with single-family rentals, the way I have them set up, and seller finance notes to investors. Well, seller finance notes to investors are absolute best. I don't do a thing, not a thing. I mean, I get it all set up. I set it up with my servicing company. Worst case scenario, if they don't pay, which thank God they all pay because the way we set up our deals, they have equity. They have a decent amount of skin in the game. They're good properties. They don't pay. I just call the attorney, and the attorney takes care of it. I mean, we just roll it back into our name, and we sell it again. It's for my lifestyle, it's the best thing. Now, can I make more money with multis? Probably. But my vision, nothing on my vision says I want to chase money. Okay. Right. My vision is I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather now, I'm a friend, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm a speaker. Nothing in there says anything about chasing money. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing in my vision says that. So once you lock down your vision right, and it's not an easy thing to do, once you lock down your personal and your business vision, you'll stay so laser in tune. And that's why you need good mentors to hold you accountable. And I'm not only am I a mentor, but I have 2 mentors, and they hold me accountable to exactly what I tell them I'm going to do every single month. And if I don't do it, they start, it's not nice. They'll start smacking me in the face and saying, you never said you were a roofer in your vision. Yeah, you can make $2 million this year being a roofer, but you never said you were going to do that. And this just recently happened to me. So that's the difference between leveling up your game and being intentional about your life and your why.
Absolutely. I love it. So since we're on the topic of real estate, what would you give somebody who's brand new coming into wanting to be a real estate investor? What kind of advice would you give them coming into this game for the first time?
Definitely the first thing I would do is sit down and thanks, Larry. I'm probably talking to you. I would sit down and really work on your vision, your why. Because until you know your vision, you don't know which direction to go. Because your vision can be, hey, I just want to do this because I want to buy my wife a Rolls Royce. That's your only vision. Sure. And you know exactly what to do, right? So a lot of people just go out there with no vision. It's like going out in the ocean with a boat and no motor or no paddles and not knowing which way to go, right? So that's the first thing I would do is figure out your vision. Before I work with anybody, I work on their vision, their why. Why are they doing this, right? What is your ultimate goal?
That makes sense. I love that.
And then from there, we could figure it out because I can't really say, like people ask me, what was your biggest, I'll turn it around. They say, what was your biggest regret in this business? Because whenever I'm at an event speaking and I'm in a panel, I seem to get that question. I don't know why I get that question. I don't know. I must have that face like I have regrets. What's your biggest regret? And my biggest regret was selling off all my properties. That was my biggest regret. So because, I've done now probably close to 3,000 properties. Now figure it out. 3,200, let's say $300. We're way more than 300 on property. We're 4 to 5, sometimes 600. But let's say $300 positive cash flow per property at 3,000 properties. That's not too shabby. That gets pretty sexy. Now I told them all off because I was
from a yacht right now.
What's that?
You'd be calling me from a yacht right now if that was.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. And that's what I'm saying, right? Back then, sexy was making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on a property and going and buying another beautiful watch, or going and buying a car, or going to buy my wife some jewelry. That was sexy for me, right? But that loses its giggle real quick. That stuff loses its giggle. I still have a watch collection that can choke a horse. I still have I have the cars, so I didn't sell them all. I used to trade them in, but I still have a couple of beautiful cars. I just sold the boat. I'll be buying another one, but I don't do it the same way as I used to do it anymore. It loses a giggle really quick, but living that lifestyle, making dreams and memories with your family, like last year, taking my family and my son's fiance and my daughter's boyfriend on a trip to Aruba for 10 days for a 5-star, doing everything you can imagine, that'll never lose its giggle. That we talk about that forever. So that's my why right now, is making memories, spending time. Here's the thing I had to do once, and it's a great assignment for people to do. And I make my students do this when I do my group coaching. Okay. And it's very tough to do. It's very tough. And if you have a wife, a girlfriend, a husband, a boyfriend, make them do it too. And you might start crying. Go in your room at night and write your eulogy. What would people say about you? And it's eye-opening. I did it, and I'm not a sensitive guy. I'm really not. Except when I look at my wife and my family and think I almost screwed everything up. I will cry on stage for that. I have the room crying. But when you write your eulogy, if you don't have tears coming out of your eyes, you're probably not doing it the right way. Because what would people say about, if people showed up, you don't have kids, but if you had kids, but if they showed up to your funeral, what would they say about you? And it's eye-opening. And put it this way, my wife wouldn't even do it. She wouldn't even do it. I did it because I had to do it. So that's kind of what I live for right now. I don't want them to say, well, my dad was great. He gave us a ton of money, but he was never there for us. And even to this day, if I have to miss my daughter's event or anyone's event, I feel terrible. And sometimes I have no choice because, running for an office right now, sometimes I have to be at certain places. But I don't do it because I'm chasing money. So think about that and start. This is deep stuff. I mean, we only have like a few minutes here. This is really deep stuff. It'll change. So that's the first thing I would do to any investor. I'd tell any investor is to figure it out. Who do you want to be? Who is Fred Prosima? Who is Dan Zitofsky? Nothing in there to me says I'm a millionaire, right? Yeah. It doesn't talk about that, right? Nothing in who's Dan Zitofsky. I can go through a ton of nouns of who I am. I'm sure I'm going to get some jokes. Larry will probably give me something here. I'm sure I'll get some jokes to give me something. But,
oh, geez.
Larry, this is a mask. You didn't think I was just this good-looking natural, did you?
I love that, Dan. I'm definitely going to write my eulogy, probably tonight or tomorrow night. That's an awesome piece of advice. I never had that before, but that's definitely something that I got to start doing. But since we're on the topic, let's turn this a little bit political. You are running for office right now, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Tell us about that. How can we vote for you? How can we support you? Mm-hmm. What do you need from us?
Well, definitely, we could definitely. I mean, if you're not in Delaware, you can't vote for me, but you can definitely support me. I mean, we can use donations. We can use. I can give you the link. Donations always help because we're out there fighting. We're fighting for investors. We're fighting for Americans. We're fighting for our rights. We're fighting for less government control. Okay, and we have progressive party people really jumping in, trying. You see what's going on, right? I don't like to make some political posts, but you see what's going on. They're trying to control everything. They're trying to tell us when we can leave our house, what we have to wear, who we could be around, what we can say, if we can have a flag, if we cannot have a flag, what's going on in schools. And this is a fight and a half, and it costs a lot of money and a lot of time. So if anybody wants to get involved, I mean, some of my best supporters have been from. I had donations coming from outside the country, out around the United States, because we do have Delaware has a voice. There's a popular vote and electoral vote. If we don't protect that, well, you're going to have California and New York decide who the president of the United States is. Then nobody else is going to matter. Nobody else is going to matter. So we have a vote at the table. So what I'm running for is a state position. As a state representative, I have a vote. Our vote goes to Delaware. Delaware has a vote in Washington where they look at every state. They're looking to do permanent mail-in ballots. We have to stop stuff like this. I mean, and we have to look at our Constitution. Our constitutional rights are being destroyed day by day. So I could definitely give you the link. It's Zitofsky for representative.
Okay.
I'll just let me actually grab it here,
and I'll drop it in the comments of.
That'll be great. Like I said, if anyone wants to help out, if they want anything, any donation helps. And campaigns are expensive. I've put a lot of my own money in this. I've had a lot of support, but we're in the last month, and it gets expensive. Unfortunately, on the other side, they have a lot of money coming to them from the Biden group.
Sure.
They just funnel a ton of money on that side, and we just don't get that kind of money on our side. So they'll put out crazy ads. They'll do whatever they have to do to win. It's just a real progressive. I'm facing a progressive liberal right now, and somebody who's looking to destroy our constitutional rights, destroy our businesses, destroy our kids, destroy our schools. It goes on and on and on. And I wasn't going to run for office again. I had no ambition. Larry will know. I ran for last time. I had no ambition to run again. But when I sat back and I saw everything that was going on, I had to get involved. I could not sit back and watch this anymore. And, it's funny because I see a ton of people complain on social media, but very few people get involved. And the only way to make a difference is to truly get involved, right? And you don't have to be a candidate. I mean, we have calls. You can make phone calls from anywhere. You can call voters. You can tell them get out to vote. Election day, I have people coming from New York. I have someone come from North Carolina right now. I have a mutual friend come from Pennsylvania.
There you go.
Teresa is coming from Pennsylvania. She's going to come help stand at a poll. So just being at the polls, greeting voters, and just doing what it takes, just being part of it is huge. Because it's, I'm out there every single day right now. And I know some people are busy. They can't be out there. But we're dropping literature at people's houses, talking to people, just walking neighborhoods. We're doing something every single day to get this going. So any support will be huge. If anyone, anything will help.
So for those listening in that can't see the screen, go to Zitofsky4representative.com. That's FOR for 4, Zitofskyforrepresentative.com, and you can give your support there and make your donations or however you want to be a part of what we have going on. So, Dan, this was awesome. This was so much fun. I hope, did you enjoy this?
I actually loved it. I loved it. You have some great insight, and I hope this gets out, and I hope we change people's lives one person at a time. We truly do, because especially if I can get to people early enough before they start their career, and they can actually just, light bulb pops off, and they said, you know what, I really better reset my values and my vision, and figure out what I want to do. And then once you do, just go full steam ahead, right?
I love that. Dan, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
They can go right to on our Facebook page. Go to not my personal page, because I keep hitting that 5,000 friends limit. Go to Become a Real Estate Investor with Dan Zitofsky.
Okay.
Or our YouTube page is where we're going to be moving all our training, free training. So on a YouTube page, you can go right to Zitofsky Capital Management, and let me drop a link there for you in 1 second here. Let me pull up a link for you for YouTube. So they can go right to our YouTube page, and they get all my free training there if they want. And we just put a video up there this week. We're trying to put more videos up there, because what happens with Facebook, unfortunately, is, the videos get buried down and nobody sees them. And then they keep asking questions about what we did. So right. I think that the best way to do it is to start putting stuff on the YouTube page, because it stays there. So I'll drop the YouTube page there for you. Give me a second here.
Perfect. You the best, man. This is awesome stuff. I love how giving you are. That's one of my favorite parts about you, because a lot of people, they reach a certain level and then they're like invisible. They're like a ghost.
Yeah. You can't do that. Yeah, you have to be able to, listen, we all start at one point. There's ways listen, I understand there's people that are now going to invest in mentorship, and that's not what I'm here for. Obviously, if I was, I would keep doing one-on-one mentorship with people. Sure. On life and make a lot more money. I'm not chasing the money there. But there's ways that we can put things out for free for people to take advantage of, right? And, I'm paying a marketing person to take my videos and put them on YouTube for me. So it's costing me money to send my videos to YouTube for you to learn. But I think it's a lot better platform for my videos, because, like I said, on Facebook, they just get buried down. So we're in a process of moving more and more of our videos to YouTube now to extend our page for you. So that's the page. Or go to YouTube and just type in Zitofsky Capital Management. But if you go to this page, you subscribe to it, you'll get notified. We're going to be putting up videos hopefully every week or two. A little slow now with the campaign, but we just did one this week on a BRRRR method. We're going to do a final video of that project so you can see how it worked.
That'll be awesome.
See how much money we have in the deal, see how much we're pulling out monthly. And you could do the same yourself. And we're going to help you as much as possible.
That's great. I love it. Yeah, I'm going to put all these links in the description of the show. So this will be syndicated on podcasts. It'll be live on Facebook as well as my YouTube channel. And we'll go from there. Dan, this was awesome stuff. I'm so glad that we did this today.
Yeah.
And we will, I guess, see everybody very soon.
All right. Awesome. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.